This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello and welcome. It's Monday, August 23rd, and this is Orlando Sentinel Now. Today, we're talking about a war of words between district schools and the state of Florida. We're also talking about record high manatee mortality rates, and we're giving you a sneak peek over at a Central Florida theme park developing. I'm your host, Joe Mario Pedersen, and joining me today, I have education reporter Leslie Postal, environmental and growth reporter Kevin Spear, and theme park reporter Dwayne Bevel. Thank you all so much for being here today. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Leslie, coming to you first here for the latest development on district schools. The state of Florida is moving to dock funds for Alachua and Broward counties for not complying with face mask rules. That being giving parents the option to opt out of having their students use face masks. What's the latest that we've heard about this?
So on Friday, the state sent letters to both Alachua and Broward County. Those were the first two districts that kind of defied the governor and said, we're requiring everyone to wear a mask, even though he doesn't want that. They sent letters saying that they were going to start, they had 48 hours and they were going to start withholding money equivalent to the monthly salaries of the school board members who voted for the mandate. So both districts said they weren't backing down, so the money will probably start being withheld early this week.
As we were talking about before the show here, other counties have actually started taking action very similar to Alachua and Broward as well. Can you tell us more about that?
Right. Miami-Dade, Hillsborough, and Palm Beach all did the same a little bit after Alachua and Broward. Then Sarasota did that on Friday, and I was just reading Leon County did that on Sunday as well, at least for their K-8 students. So keep in mind, Leon had actually initially imposed a mandate, then backed down when the state said they would lose money, but now they've reimposed it.
Could you talk to me about the response from the state of Florida regarding how much money it is that these counties stand to lose?
It's really a very small amount of money considering the budget. I mean, Broward County is the second largest school district in Florida and a very large one nationally, and has, $1 billion something budget. So it's, $31,000 or something. It's a small amount of money. It's just, the monthly salary for the school board member. So it's not really a big financial hit. It's just kind of part of the fight that I think the state is trying to show that it is serious about this, but it's not a huge amount of money, no.
Now, Leslie, I'm wondering because some of the rhetoric that we're hearing from the district schools as far as why they're carrying out mask mandates the way that they are is that they are aligning themselves with the rhetoric that we're hearing coming out of the Biden administration. So I'm wondering, what has the federal government said in response to these schools taking this action?
Well, they are supporting them. And keep in mind, the Centers for Disease Control, the American Academy of Pediatrics, many health experts just locally have all said everybody in schools should be wearing masks right now, given how contagious the Delta variant is, and given that most students are not old enough to be vaccinated. So that is the prevailing health recommendation at this point. Certainly the Biden administration has jumped in. President Biden actually called the Broward superintendent a week or so ago. His Secretary of Education has sent letters in support saying, if you lose money, you could use federal COVID relief money to make up your budget. And they've basically said, you should let these school districts do what they feel they need to do to protect the students and staff on their campuses.
One more question here for you, Leslie. Just wondering, can you tell us about the latest developments coming out of Orange?
Yes, it's possible that tomorrow the Orange County School Board could also join those who are adopting a mask mandate. They met Thursday in a long work session. A number of board members sounded ready to do that. They are trying to figure out the best way to do that legally or how to challenge the governor's order. But I would say it sounds like enough of them are very worried about the cases on campus and feel like, requiring everyone to wear a face mask would help the health situation. So we'll see tomorrow, but it is certainly likely that that will come up and likely that there is support for it among the board members.
This story is largely developing very quickly every day here. And to stay up to date with it, be sure you're following Leslie's stories online at orlandosentinel.com to keep up to date. Leslie, thank you so much. All right, moving on now. Kevin, I want to come to you for one of your latest here about what's causing the worst die off of manatees. From what your report has been saying, we're seeing possibly the largest manatee mortality rate tied to human activity ever recorded. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, the Indian River Lagoon, which is that long coastal lagoon along the East Coast that runs from New Smyrna all the way down to the Treasure Coast area, is really failing as an ecosystem goes. And it's been interesting to watch over the past 10 years to see how bad the Indian River Lagoon can become. And it seems like we've reached a new low.
As far as what the cause of that might be, are we aware of what the catalyst is?
Yeah, all thinking is that water pollution from sewage handling, septic tanks, wastewater treatment plants, from fertilizers, farms, lawns, and so forth, all that stuff flowing into the Indian River Lagoon over decades has finally reached a critical mass where a form of algae, microscopic algae, is growing rampantly, and that clouds the water in the Indian River Lagoon, and that then results in killing seagrass, which is the primary food for manatees. And I went out to the lagoon a couple of weeks ago to a place where I've been a number of times, but a couple of times with scientists. And I was shocked to see that there was no seagrass to speak of. There are little sprouts here and there. That to me is a devastation that's as bad as manatees dying off. Seagrasses are the forests of coastal waters for Florida, harboring all kinds of sea life. And to see it gone, to see just bare sand bottom was pretty shocking.
I can imagine. And from what I've been gathering as far as shocking numbers go, the rate of manatees that we've seen dead this year so far also shockingly high. How high has that been?
The highest annual count for manatee mortalities is somewhere around 800, and we've already surpassed that this year, driven mostly by the die-off of manatees in the Indian River Lagoon in the Brevard County area. So the kind of the backdrop to this is that decades ago, the manatees appeared headed towards extinction for all kinds of reasons. And the state and feds got behind a rescue plan and enabled manatees to make a gradual but significant comeback from hundreds to 8,000 or so. And then several years ago, 2017, I think, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service downlisted manatees from endangered to threatened, and that was incredibly controversial. And now with this die-off of the past winter and through this summer, there are many questions about whether or not that was a good move to go from endangered to threatened, and really what the status of manatees is today, if they're headed to trouble again or if they're going to get through this.
A lot more on this, including future concerns about the story developing at Kevin's story online right now at orlandosentinel.com. Be sure to take a look. Kevin, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Dwayne, I want to come over to you now for the latest developments on what is going to be Central Florida's newest theme park coming in. Very cool stuff. We're talking about the Peppa Pig theme park that's quickly approaching. Before we get into the details that we've learned about what's new, can you tell us what is the Peppa Pig theme park?
Peppa Pig Theme Park is being sort of conceived by Merlin Entertainments Group. It's a British concern, which also brought us Legoland Florida. It operates Madame Tussauds and Sea Life Aquarium. It's a big theme park operator. They're building a Peppa Pig theme park, basically in the parking lot of the giant Legoland parking lot. So it's a little strange, a little small. It's completely geared to preschoolers, age 0 to 5. And so everything is small, but they've also built all the rides except for one. The adult can ride with the kid on it at the same time. So we had a hard hat tour last week. There's a lot of dirt. There's a roller coaster in the middle of all the dirt that had a vehicle on it already. We can see Peppa's house, not quite done. Some other structures, you can see where the sidewalk is going to be and things like that. But they are scheduled to open sometime next spring.
It's pretty awesome. Now, Dwayne has a whole set of Q&A questions for anyone who's interested in finding out more about the Peppa Pig theme park, as it's scheduled to open, Dwayne said, very, very soon. Very exciting. So be sure to take a look at that at orlandosentinel.com, as well as all the other stories that we talked about here today, and so many other stories happening in and around our community. For those of you who are subscribers to the Orlando Sentinel, thank you so much for continuing to support our work and the work of local journalism. As for OSN, that will do it for us today. A big thank you to Leslie, Kevin, and Dwayne for keeping us informed in what's going on in our community. We'll be back again with more news tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then. Stay healthy and stay safe.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on orlandosentinel.com.